Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer with another video for Angular Material series. This time we will work with the menu component from Angular Material, so you will see how can you use this drop-down menu and also create the sub-menus for drop-down menus in Angular Material. Before we do anything, did you know that only around 8% of you who are watching my videos are actually subscribed to my YouTube channel? So please be sure to subscribe as I am posting new tutorials weekly. Now, let's start with this one. First of all, as usual, we will now generate the component for our menu component. To do that, I will use command of ng, g for generate, c for component, and I will generate the new component in components / menu folder. Now in our app component HTML file, we can use this menu component that we generated. First of all, I will hide this list component from the last video. If you would like to watch that video, you will have a link down in the description of this one. And after this list, I will use menu comment and then use my app menu component that we just generated. I will also put the end of menu as a comment here. Usually for all Angular Material components, we need to import the corresponding module. So open up app.module.ts file, and here we will import the menu module, which is important for our menu component. So here at the top, first of all, I do have this input, list, icon, and menu components. Well, those are all generated by CLI, so those can be moved here to a top. And down below, we will now import, and I will import math menu module, and I will import this one from @angular/material/menu. Also be sure to pass this math menu module down in imports array as well. Now we can focus on our simple example for menu itself. In this example, I will firstly show you how can you create that drop-down menu using menu component. And a bit later we will see how can we set up the sub-menus. First of all, I will create a div in my menu component. This div can hold a style attribute, and here I will set the text align to center and also margin top to 50 pixels. Now inside of this div we can use our menu. To use a drop-down menu from Angular Material, we will first of all need a button that will trigger that drop-down menu. To this button you can pass style as you like. I can just simply pass math button here as an attribute, so we could get that material styling and animations. And now I will need to bind here property of math menu trigger for. This here will connect our trigger, well, our button with our menu. So here I will set the menu to be called drop-down menu, and the text for a button can be just menu simply. Now you can see this red line below, which presents that this drop-down menu is not existing. As you can see, it does not exist here. So below here we will create that menu. To use a menu, use math menu element from Angular Material, and to this math menu element, first of all, we need to pass hash and then drop down menu. Make sure to use the same text as you used for math menu trigger here. That way this trigger will know to trigger this menu by clicking on this button. So here, after this drop down menu, we can also set it equal to be math menu. This means that this drop down menu will serve us as a math menu component that we imported in our module. So now simply down here we can create the list items in our menu, but those list items won't be list items, those will be each separate buttons. So here we can set an attribute of math menu item to present the list item in this menu, and I will use one as a apples, for example. The next button can hold the same attribute, well, it should hold the same attribute, but can say bananas. And that's pretty much it. Now going into my browser, I can test this. I have this menu button here. If I would click on it, I should see the drop down menu here, which will hold two buttons, two items inside. One is the apples, the second one is bananas. Now let's focus on more advanced menu here. Let's create the menu with sub-menus as well. The example that we will create here will present the nested menus that we can have in, well, Material. The menu itself is, well, also pretty much similar to this menu, but there will be more content to it. So here, again, I will create the div, and use a style attribute on this div. I will use again text align to center and the margin top to 50 pixel, and let's create our first menu. So what I will do is I will grab the entire menu and the button above that I have, and I will change those a bit. First of all, related to my trigger, my button, here I will still need to have this mat menu trigger for, but now I want to trigger drop down menu because this will trigger this menu here. I wish to trigger here different menu. I will name my menu cars menu because I will have different list of cars, and the content, the text for this button will be just cars. So now in this menu down below, we won't use drop down menu and set it equal to mat menu. We need to use this cars menu here, and also for our buttons, our items inside, we will change those as well. First of all, my first button will be Mercedes, and second one will be Audi. Here I will present the, well, different types of cars, which you will also see soon. So now this should present the normal drop down menu that we used here at the top. But how can we create the nested menu here? Well, all of our items inside are actually buttons, which means that we can again use this mat menu trigger for inside of these buttons as well. So no matter if those are actually items inside of our menu. So what can I do here is after my mat menu item, I can bind again mat menu trigger for, and I will trigger a menu for this. Here I will trigger a menu which is called Mercedes menu, which we will create soon. And also down below I will trigger a menu which is called Audi menu. So now that we have these two triggers, let's create menus for those. Down below after my main menu, I will create again mat menu, and this mat menu will be called Mercedes menu. It should be set also to mat menu. So now inside we could have specific items for this one. As an example, my Mercedes menu can hold a button, which is basically mat menu item. So I will pass this attribute here, and this button will say as class from Mercedes, for example. And I will create another button for a G class. Now I will repeat the same, so copy this same menu down below, but instead of Mercedes class, which is by the way not the right text, let me use the right one, I will use Audi menu here as well. So we have two different menus. The second one won't have items as class, but Q5, and for the below one I will use Q8, for example, Q8. Now in our browser we should have two different menus. First of all, the first one is just the drop down menu, but the second one is still a drop down menu with these sub menus, these nested menus inside. So by this you can see how can you set up easily these nested menus with Angular material component. Also, it is important to notice here that you could nest your menus as you wish. So this S class can be its menu on its own, which will have different options, this G class as well, and options inside as well could be their own different menus, well, nested menus. But this is pretty much it about the menu component from Angular material. So I showed you the simple and also a bit more advanced example of that. If you have any questions, make sure to ask those down below and I will surely answer you. Now, did you know also that only around 8% of you who are watching my videos are actually subscribed to my YouTube channel? If you are not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe as I'm posting new content weekly. So thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.